Hi everyone, I have a special guest for you guys today. This is my wife, Kiki. You guys have been asking so many questions, both in Turkish and English. So we're gonna start replying your questions today. We love to talk about work, success, business, love, life in general. So it's time to get this going. Kiki, let's start with you, my wife.
Finally, I'm so happy we're finally
you're
doing
here.
this.
Let's actually start by introducing yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm Kiki, 23 years old, and for work, I'm a real estate global advisor. I've been doing it for 5 years, and I also just recently started my own design business, designing like journals, things for the home. Overall, I just love business.
You've been an entrepreneur since like 16 years old. Tell about your entrepreneurship history.
Around like 15, I got my first job. I started working as a busser in a restaurant, and I just got addicted to working. Like, I loved making my own money.
Did you need it to work, or you?
It was easier that I had my own money. I found a little hack when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
There was this program where they gave you time off of school to go to work, and the rest of your credits and classes were fulfilled. So I found this hack, and I was able to go to school from 10 a.m. to like 2 p.m. in high school. And that way I was able to get 3 jobs. So I would work from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. and then start my night job and then work on the weekends.
That's
and it was
cool.
all at restaurants.
That's until you graduated?
Yeah, until I graduated. And then when I was 18, I started my own CBD business, CBD skincare. I was selling at like farmers markets, online, on TikTok in Miami.
Nice.
And this was like when TikTok was first starting. So it was really easy to get viral on TikTok. And I was posting TikToks, and then, yeah, the business did pretty good. For 18 years old, it did good. I broke even the first year, and the second year I had to shut it down because of COVID, but it was an amazing experience.
Nice. And how did you get into real estate?
And then after that, it was COVID, and at that point, I was not doing so well in college. I was going to a community college here, and school was never really my thing. Like, I always liked to educate myself.
Same here.
But I know, you're the same way. I was already having thoughts to drop out of college, and my mom has been doing real estate for 15, almost 20 years now. So she was like, why don't you just get your license and you can help me do assistant work.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't like the assistant work. Like, I hate being someone's assistant, and I also hated the fact that she was paying me. So I immediately got into real estate.
You got your license?
As my own, individual.
Nice.
Yeah. Around the same time, I started investing in crypto. This was like 2019. So I started buying Ethereum and learning about Bitcoin. And slowly, like shortly after, NFTs became more popular too. So I used that industry kind of to pool clients. Since I was investing in NFTs and crypto, I was in a lot of group chats on Twitter. And with that, I found a lot of really good clients that set off my real estate career.
That's amazing to hear about your past business experiences. Let's start off with the questions they ask.
Yeah.
I think the first most important question is how we met.
That's going to be the first question.
So you want to start ahead, or should I start?
I think it starts with you, because
you're
the one that...
I'm the stalker, I'm the playboy, I'm the guy at fault. So
Exactly.
Let's start with me. So this was 2021. I had just seen Kiki on TikTok, and I really liked her page. She was sharing about business. All these, what she just explained, she was already doing those on TikTok, like as a content. And she was posting about real estate, business content.
I only had like 3,000 followers.
3,000 followers. So I stumbled upon her page. Not that I'm on TikTok, but like I was just scrolling and I saw her page and I was like, oh my God, beautiful girl. And I was like, maybe somewhere close by to Miami. So maybe I'll meet her one day. So I added her on TikTok. And then I saw her business post a couple times and I was like super interested. I was like, oh my God, a girl that's like 19, so beautiful. And she's sharing about business. And at the time I was sharing about business, all I was doing was success, entrepreneurship, business. I didn't reach out to her. 2 weeks later, I went to the sushi bar in Halloween night. And I saw her at like 11 p.m. with her friends.
So bad.
I saw her and I was like, oh my God, this is Kiki. So let me go say hi. Like, how would she know me? I'm just a follower on TikTok. So I just went up to her and I was like, hey, are you Kiki Rutin? Are you this?
First, I was really creeped out because I didn't know. I was like,
I knew her name, last name. I knew what kind of business she was in. Like, I went up to her and she was like creeped out.
You also had like super long hair.
Actually looked like a samurai, friends. She was like, okay, let me add you on TikTok. But at the time there was no...
I did not say let me add you on TikTok. You asked me for my number and I said let me add you back on TikTok because I didn't want him like messaging me and, you know, trying to ask me out. So at the time TikTok didn't have Messenger, so I said let's just follow each other back on TikTok.
Yeah, and I was like, no, I knew there was no messaging on TikTok, so I was like, let's follow each other on Instagram. How about that?
I was like, oh, fine.
And then we followed each other and I kept on texting her for so long. Like I texted you for like 2 years. And
he kept trying.
I was trying. I was just trying and she never met me for dinner. I was inviting her for coffee, for sushi, restaurants, dinner, whatever. Like bowling, let's do this, let's do that. Always planning something and she was never there. She was like giving me a little hope, but never actually was meeting me.
At some point he pretended that he was going to buy a piece of real estate from me. Yeah. And so shortly
I was
after,
actually interested in buying though.
Okay, but not at your budget that you told me. He called me one day and he's like, oh.
That was the only way to be able to call you. That was why.
Yeah. And you kept me on the phone for a long time, I remember. Yeah. And because I was trying to get to know you.
But you kind of liked me on the phone, like after the conversation, like just a little bit. Let's get that straight, just a little bit.
No, I really didn't. Then I had moved into a new apartment with a roommate. Mm-hmm. And it was so funny because one night the first Turkish dish I ever decided to make at home, I was making döner.
Yeah.
And in Germany, we have a lot of döner and I really missed it. So I didn't have pita bread and there was a market downstairs in my building. And I went to go get pita bread and I saw him at the market working on his laptop. And I was like, no way, I'm making Turkish food right now. That's crazy.
What happened is I figured out which building she lives in from her stories. And I was like, okay, if this is the view, and I lived close by there before, if this is the view, she lives in that building, so let me go to the cafe downstairs and maybe I'm gonna see her one day. It was not my first time being there. I was there for so many times. Then I saw her and she was making döner, and why did I say döner in like an American? She was making döner.
I was shocked because he's Turkish and I said, oh my gosh, I'm making döner, but I didn't really care. I needed to go back upstairs to finish cooking, so I just didn't even think anything of it. Fast forward.
I was like, this is the moment.
It was not the moment. And then I think fast forward, like a year later, that's when you got frustrated that I just still kept not meeting with you. And what did you do?
I mean, guys, come on. Like, you text a girl for like three years and she's still not meeting you. She's still not showing any effort to meet with you. And you're like fed up with it. So what I did was I texted her something stupid. And then guess what happened? I got blocked. Aynen. Yeah, so this is what happens when you try to play with a girl that has good intentions. And you get blocked. And I was blocked for a year.
Too much ego. Then weren't blocked. I forgot to block you on WhatsApp.
Yeah, she forgot to block me. And that was my little open door to sneak in later. So a year later, fast forward. I went on and traveled the world. I was like, business is going well. I'm just going to travel the world. I went to Asia for 6 months and then to Turkey. And I was living my life. And then I fell into this moment of emptiness next year, following the year of, I was like, okay, I've done a lot of things in life and partied a lot and did most stuff that I was like looking up to the guys who were doing it. And I've done it. I've been there. And I was like, okay, what's next? Like, what am I doing with my life? And then suddenly in that moment of, this was like a couple months, in that moment of emptiness, I saw her converting to Islam. I've grown up in a religious family, but I was never religious. And I was like definitely interested. I wanted to know her story because I didn't know. And I texted her on WhatsApp, like a huge message, very long message. Hey, I'm so sorry what I did last year. I was just trying to meet you. It was my phase where I had a lot of ego.
I didn't respond.
And she didn't respond.
And you texted me a week after that.
Yeah. I was like, hey, are you Muslim now? Did you convert to Islam? And she was like, yeah.
I was open to responding to your questions about my conversion because in that sense, I don't want to look bad. And then we slowly started like chatting and texting and sending voice messages, and it was just back and forth.
Ramadan last year, and I was like, can I please take you out finally for an iftar dinner? And she accepted, so we went out for an iftar dinner. Right away, we were talking about like values and ethics and business and marriage, kids, where to live. Miami sucks. Let's move. Maybe I'll move to a Middle Eastern country. And she's like, oh my God, I'm actually going to move to Dubai.
I think it was like 2 weeks before I met you. I booked a one-way flight to Dubai because I was done living in Miami. I also converting to Islam, me being around Islam would have been much easier in Dubai. It's very difficult here, especially when I was alone. So
also the city is not serious in general. Like when you're single, friendships, relationships, any sort of relationship, the city is not a serious city to build long-lasting relationships, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, I had a friend that was moving to Dubai. She needed some help, and I was like, okay, I'll come. If I like it, I'll just stay here, like figure things out. I was really ready to just go randomly move there. As I was about to leave, he told me he loved me. I was there for 2 weeks, and he called me one day and said, I can't take this anymore. I booked your flight back. Come back to Miami so I can marry you.
Yeah.
And then, like, right away, I got on a plane. We started planning our engagement, the nikah, the everything.
Yeah, this was like, what, a month in?
Yeah.
I knew it from the beginning, like it was going to be her. After like 3 months in, I proposed. That's the story, basically. And now we're happily married. Alhamdulillah, we're happily married.
Alhamdulillah. Next question. How did you know she was the one?
I mean, after sitting for the first time, I knew something was going to happen. She checked all the boxes for me from the first exact date. And I was not looking for like a long relationship. I was not looking for a marriage. And her interest in my religion also showed me like, oh my God, there's another door in life that I could possibly enter. And I could find a different source of happiness there. And I got suddenly really interested in that door. And I wanted to go in. I wanted to walk in that door and see what happens. Surrounded by myself with older people. I'm 26, older people than myself who are actually married. And they're very successful and they're very routine people, especially my mentor. And I was like always admiring that life a little bit, even though I was having fun. And when I met her, I just knew, like, when she told me her intentions and that she's totally against the dating culture, I knew that moment, like, okay, I'm gonna marry this girl. I'm like, she's checking all of the boxes every single day. I wanted to propose. I just wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. Same question goes for you now. How did you know it was going to be me?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of girls will tell that they want a handsome, successful provider type of man. But honestly, that's pretty easy to get. Like, if you think about it, it's like, it's nothing special. That's nothing that really keeps a woman wanting to spend their life with someone. I think for me, there was a few things that I really looked in for a man, and it just happened to be that you're also handsome and successful and provider as well. But I wanted a man that knew how to handle failure. When a man doesn't know how to handle setbacks, how to handle problems, stress, loss of money. So,
but how did you know that I knew how to be?
Because you had told me the story of that you were doing like 6-figure months and you were extremely successful at such a young age, and then life hit you and your business got shut down and you kind of had to start from scratch almost. A lot of men, after that would happen, they would go into a deep depression. They wouldn't know how to zone. Yeah, they would crash and they wouldn't know how to pull themselves out. Yeah. Another thing was that I loved the fact that you were so knowledgeable about different cultures. Someone that has converted to Islam. I didn't want to marry someone that didn't understand me either, in my family, in my background, my culture. Like, I'm someone that I can easily assimilate into your culture, but I also needed to be with someone that has traveled many different places and can hold a conversation about different cultures and different things in the world. And that's what we always talk about. It's what gets you to one room to the next with successful people. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, I think you just know. Like, when it's the one, you also just know. These things, they all come natural. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. A follower asked, why did we want to get married at a young age? How would you respond to that?
I really believe in young marriage, and everyone that knows me knows that.
I think what happened to me was at a very young age, I made a lot of money, and then basically I went down, and I realized at that point that I'm not just meant to be rich and successful and build a big company. I'm meant for a bigger purpose. That's what I felt. I was like, after falling hard, rock bottom again, I was like, I'm meant to do greater things in this life more than making money. And you can't do that without a woman by your side. That's what I knew. It was not an opinion. That's what I knew. When you look at past and all your surroundings, you're going to see a lot of successful men who have a very good backbone, who is the woman. Because men without purpose seeks pleasure, and men have better purpose when they're set and with a woman that they're loyal with.
Yeah, I agree. As a woman, it might be a different answer because I think, yeah, men is all about purpose. But women like to feel safe and secure and protected. If I knew that you were the right one for me, why would I continue dating you for years and years and years and not get that commitment?
Yeah.
To me, that just doesn't make sense in my head.
Also, one thing that I find happening a lot with men is, especially young men, I had this too. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to marry a girl right now? I'm 26. I have to buy a ring that's going to cost me thousands of dollars. I have to organize an engagement. I have to organize a wedding. All these like expenses that come with it. But at the end of the day, you don't need to be impressing your wife with money at first. I just want to encourage men out there. Things get solved. Like if the woman is pushing you to be making all those big expenses, it's definitely not the right woman, first of all. But if you're pulling yourself back for these reasons, also you got to think twice, because I had this moment of like, let's just do it. Like, why am I just wasting my time? This is the girl. I'm not going to waste this opportunity.
Another follower asked, how do you manage both a serious relationship and a work-focused life with your wife?
I'm going to answer this in a non-Andrew Tate way. I think the Tate way is super non-realistic. I used to take his advice a lot before, until I actually got married into a beautiful marriage. Then the reality hit me and I was like, no, not taking the Tate way anymore. Like, it's not like you just wake up and tell your wife, coffee for me right now. Nothing works like that, guys. Like, there's a very simple answer. We have these Monday meetings. The Monday meetings that we started doing, we got the idea from our mentor and his wife, and it really worked out perfect for us. We talk about finances. I talk about what kind of situation we're in. And just like a business, like we're managing a business where she has responsibilities and I have responsibilities, but this doesn't mean that I'm not going to help her or she's not going to help me. Sometimes I help her with house stuff. Sometimes she comes in and literally helps me with office stuff. I still make the money. I pay for everything, but it's not like I don't have bad days. It's not like I'm here like working as a slave for us. She makes me super comfortable with all these, takes off this dirty responsibility from my shoulders. She always tells me, no matter what kind of financial situation we're in, I just want to see you that you're not giving up. That's it. And that takes a lot of responsibility off my shoulders. And I love that. That makes me go harder. I get out of my comfort zone.
Something I want to add on to that is that I think nowadays we all hear, oh, you need a traditional marriage, traditional relationship. But our view of a traditional relationship nowadays is that man gets his briefcase, goes to work at 9 a.m., works in an office, woman stays at home, cleans, cooks, takes care of the kids. But that concept actually only started pretty recently. That's actually a modern traditional relationship. Going back to Egyptian times, looking up to our prophets' relationships, what I think is a real traditional relationship is this dynamic where the man always leads, but the woman has the vision and is the guide in the relationship. So something that I pointed out to you the other day is Egyptian sculpture. The man has one step walking forward because men always, they want to go for it. And then the woman has her arm on his chest, almost as if she's kind of like, wait, I don't think this is a good idea. Where the man is the leader and the woman is the guide in the relationship. Like the way that we have our relationship, you provide, you protect me, but you do come to me for my advice and I do calm you down. And I really don't agree with this traditional relationship where the man is supposed to stress about all the finances and take on this huge responsibility of
not sharing anything with the wife.
Yeah. I also told you the other day, and this is not for everyone, of course, but as a woman, I truly don't think that women get real fulfillment out of just staying at home and cooking and cleaning, because I do that. I'm at home and I cook and I clean for you, but I'm also making my own money and I'm also helping you build your businesses. And I'm also taking care of myself. And I'm also doing a million other things that is giving me fulfillment and purpose in life. If a woman is not happy, that's going to cause the relationship to fall apart.
Yeah. Guys, we answered. There was a lot to cover because it's our
we got
first
a lot
video.
of questions.
But we had to introduce ourselves and how we met and everything. So I hope you guys liked it. And thanks for joining, my love.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you guys in the next video.